So you're caring for someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, and you're sick of getting in pointless arguments with them that seem to go around in circles and just get absolutely nowhere. I'm going to share with you something that I learned that really changed the rest of the caregiving process for me and made it a lot more joyful and a lot less stressful and eliminated completely those needless arguments. I was 21 when my grandma was finally diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and I sort of fell into the role of her full-time caregiver. I didn't know anything about being a caregiver, and there was a huge learning curve, and I didn't really know what I was doing, so I made a lot of mistakes along the way. The trick is to rediscover your inner child. Now, that may sound crazy, but I'm telling you, this is a game changer for me, all right? When I realized my grandma has entered her second childhood, I was able to then join her there and kind of play her game, if you will. Now, I'm not trying to make light of this disease because, trust me, I relate to the frustration and to the struggle and to the terror of being trapped caring for someone in this. But I'm telling you, your journey as a caregiver is going to be a whole lot more enjoyable when you can learn to play her game. I found that caring for someone with dementia can be a lot like an improv game, all right? You got to kind of find your inner play a little bit. So there are rules to improv, and if you've never seen an improv show, it basically works like this. It's when a few actors are given a scene or a scenario, and they have to make up a story on the spot, going back and forth with each other. Now, the only way that this actually works is if there are a few rules in place. Number one, agree with everything they say. All right? So the first rule to improv is to say yes to everything. Number two is to add on to whatever they say. So there's a yes and. Number three is to make a statement, not a question. And in our case, caring for someone with Alzheimer's, we're going to make a statement that redirects their attention. So this is how this might look in each scenario. The first time that we got an argument over something that was just unreasonable was over a jigsaw puzzle. We had gotten all the pieces laid out on the table, and we had separated all the edge pieces from the center pieces, and we had just finished getting the edge pieces all put together, and then she looked over at the pile of center pieces in front of her, and her eyes just went wide, and she went, "There's no way those are going to fit into that puzzle." And I said, "Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it?" And she looked at me and she said, No, there's no way. That is the wrong puzzle." Well, it was a brand new puzzle, and we just dumped it out, and I explained that to her and said they're definitely going to fit because they have to. Well, that just made her angry and frustrated, and she said, "Laura, they are never going to fit in that puzzle. This is the wrong puzzle. Why can't people just put things back where they belong instead of mixing them all up?" And she ended off storming up in a rage, and I was standing there feeling guilty. And I didn't quite know why. I felt like I was the one in the right here because she was being unreasonable, but at the same time, I just felt guilty. Because I knew there was a better way to handle it, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. So just take a moment right now. If you've ever felt guilty trying to care for someone you love, just leave a comment below and let other caregivers know. Just a hashtag Yana, you are not alone. Let us know that you've gone through this because there's power in just knowing that we're not the only ones facing this, and the caregiver guilt it's a real thing. Going back to the puzzle scenario, a better way that I could have handled this is a little more like this. So she tells me, "This is the wrong puzzle. We're never going to fit all those puzzle pieces in there." Number one, I agree with her. "Oh, look at that." Number two, add on to what she's saying. "Oh, the puzzle must have got mixed up with a different one." Number three, redirect her focus. "I'll help you. Let's just get started, and we'll sort out the pieces as we go." Now, if she's not excited about starting and sorting out the pieces, something else I could have done is just redirected her and said, "Oh, well, let's leave it alone and come back and do a different puzzle later." And then I could have redirected her to go get some cookies or tea or something, and then come back and maybe put some of the pieces aside so that it didn't look like such a big pile, and then she may have been more willing to do the puzzle with me later on. Scenario number two, my grandma, actually before she was even diagnosed, she would accuse my grandpa of doing things that he didn't do. "Why would you put the car keys in the freezer?" "I'm sorry, dear. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again." "Hey, I love you. Let's go get dinner." "Someone stole my hairbrush." "I'm sorry, it's missing. We'll get you another one." "Why don't you come sit down? Your coffee's almost ready for you." "I did not eat the whole box of cookies." "No, that doesn't sound like you at all. I'll add some to the grocery list." "Hey, let's make some tea, shall we?" A good tip here, if you find that they're eating all the cookies and all the things in the cupboards and they don't realize that they're actually doing it, I found that it was actually really helpful to hide them or to just leave out a couple cookies at a time. And then when they were gone, I'd have a little note there where the cookies were saying, don't worry, they're on the grocery list, we'll get some more. And then I'd add some more the next day. I found that my grandma was eating cookies and chocolate bars like crazy, and she didn't know that she ate the whole thing, but then she wasn't hungry for supper. So rather than fighting her over the cookies, just only put enough out that she can eat them and then they're gone. My grandma had a fascination with words, and so she called herself a wordologist. Well, it got to the point where she was certain that wordologist should be in the dictionary, and it wasn't. So she would say, "Oh, I don't believe it. Wordologist isn't in the dictionary." It's not? Wow, that's crazy. It's a great word. Hey, maybe we should write to them and suggest they add it. That would satisfy her. There's just no point in arguing with you, you know? If you can join them in their game and play on their playing field, it can be a whole lot more enjoyable. She also loved the game of Scrabble, but as she progressed in the disease, she started kind of changing the rules a little bit. And rather than fighting with her on that, we found that it was actually still just as much fun to play the game with different rules, even though she beat us every time. All right, I really hope that you found some of these scenarios helpful. Sometimes you do need them to play your game. We need them to sometimes listen to what we're asking them to do, whether that's getting dressed in the morning or taking their medication, eating their meal, getting out the door to an appointment. So for that, I recommend you check out my next video coming up, which is how to get an Alzheimer's patient to listen. Go ahead and like this video if you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you maybe have a different scenario or something that you have done that has maybe brought some humor, brought some joy to your life in playing along with their games and joining them there, and how you've been able to eliminate some of their arguments. You may be able to inspire other caregivers who are watching this as well. Also be sure to subscribe to this channel for more inspiration and a little more help on your journey as a caregiver.